Okay, let's dive right in. We're going on a guided tour of the Linux file system. And hey, if you're a longtime Windows user, get ready, because things are about to look, well, really different. But I promise, it all makes perfect sense once you see the logic behind it.
All right, so picture this. You've just fired up your brand new Linux install. You open the file manager and it looks familiar enough, right? You've got your documents, your downloads, pictures. So far, so good. But then you try to go up a level. You're looking for that good old C drive, and it's just not there. No C drive, no program files. Instead, you get this. What on earth is going on?
Yeah, if you're feeling lost right now, trust me, you are not alone. It's kind of like being dropped in the middle of a foreign city with no map and no street signs you recognize. But hey, that's exactly why we're here. Think of me as your tour guide. We're going to make sense of this whole new world step by step. To really get a handle on this, you got to understand that Windows and Linux come from completely different families. They have different DNA. Windows, it grew up from the world of DOS. That's where we get those drive letters. A and B for floppy drives, remember those? And C for your main hard drive. But Linux? Nah. It's a direct descendant of Unix, and its philosophy is totally different. It sees the entire computer as one giant, single-family tree. And this whole tree structure, it's not just random. It's all built on a really powerful and honestly pretty elegant philosophy. There are a couple of core ideas you need to get, and once you do, everything else just clicks into place. So let's start at the very, very top, the absolute beginning. In the Linux world, everything, and I mean everything, starts from what's called the root directory. It's just a single /. That's it. This slash isn't a drive. It's like the trunk of that giant tree we talked about. Every single branch, every leaf, every file, every folder, it all starts right here. So a few key things to remember. First, there's just one single tree. Everything branches out from that root slash. Second, and this trips a lot of people up, file names are case sensitive. My file with a capital M and my file with a lowercase m are two totally different files, for real. And that leads us to the biggest, most mind-bending idea of all. You hear this all the time in the Linux world, and it's not just a cute phrase. It is the absolute foundation of everything. Your keyboard? The system sees it as a file. Your mouse? A file. Your hard drive? Just another file. It's wild. They're all just special files living somewhere inside that big tree structure. And that's the reason there are no drive letters like C or D. Why would you need them when everything, including your drives, is just part of one single unified system? Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds like total chaos, but it's not. There's actually a map, an official one. It's called the Filesystem Hierarchy Standard, or FHS for short. Basically, it's the official rulebook for our tour. It's the reason that whether you're using Ubuntu or Fedora or pretty much any other Linux out there, the main street signs are all in the same place. It keeps things consistent. Okay, tour guide hat is officially on. Let's head into the engine room. We're about to look at the directories that are the beating heart of the system. First up, where do your programs actually live? Now, in Windows, you just dump everything into program files, right? Linux is, well, it's a lot more organized. Think of it like this. /bin and /sbin are for the absolute life support programs, the stuff the system needs just to breathe, like ls and cp. You almost never touch these. Now, the programs you install, like your web browser or your games, most of that stuff is going to land in /usr bin. And then there's /opt, which is kind of a special case for optional software that likes to keep all its bits and pieces together in one folder. All right, let's move on to the system's brain and central nervous system. Boot is exactly what it sounds like. It's got the Linux kernel, the core of the OS. It's a look but don't touch kind of place. Then you have etc. This is super important. It's where all the system-wide settings are stored as plain text files. Think of it as the control panel. Lib is the system's toolbox, holding all the shared code, the libraries, that the essential programs need to run. And dev? That's that magical place we mentioned where your devices like your hard drive or webcam show up as files. Okay, what about the stuff that's always changing? That's where /var comes in. It's for variable data, mostly log files that are constantly being written to. /temp is just a temporary scratch pad. Files in there get deleted when you restart. And hey, for all you Windows users looking for your USB drive, this is your moment. You'll find it in one of two places. /media is where modern systems automatically pop it up for you. /mnt is the more old school spot. for when you have to mount a drive manually. So we've toured the city's infrastructure, the behind-the-scenes stuff. Now let's go to the part of town where you'll actually be spending most of your time, your home. And this is where one of the coolest parts of Linux really shines. It was built from day one to be a multi-user system. So inside the /home directory, every single user gets their very own folder. This is your space. Your documents, your downloads, your desktop wallpaper, all your personal stuff lives right here, safely walled off from the main system files and from anyone else who might use the computer. And here's a pro tip for you. You know how in Windows, application settings get scattered all over the place? In Linux, it's so much cleaner. Just go to your home folder and press Ctrl-H. Boom. You'll see all these folders that start with a dot. Those are your hidden configuration files. This is where your apps save all your preferences. The best part? You can completely wipe and reinstall your whole operating system, bring back your home folder, and all your programs will remember you. It's awesome. All right, our tour is coming to an end. We've seen a lot of new places. Now it's time to zoom out and look at the big picture. Why go through all this trouble? What's the point of this whole structure? Well, the advantages are actually huge. First, security and stability. By keeping your personal stuff in /home completely separate from the system stuff in /bin and /etc, it's really hard for a user or a buggy application to accidentally break the whole operating system. It's also super efficient. Sharing libraries means you're not wasting disk space. And my personal favorite, organization. When you tell your system to uninstall a program, it knows exactly where every single file is located. It yanks them all out cleanly. No more digital junk left behind. So let's circle back to the beginning. Remember that feeling of being completely lost? Hopefully now you can see that what looks like chaos is actually a really intelligent, deliberate design. It's a system built from the ground up for security, for stability, and for organization. It makes you wonder, right? Maybe this way that seems so alien at first is actually a much, much smarter way to build a digital world.